Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News, and just a couple of days ago, all the teams got confirmed for North American Stage 2, but as of yesterday, we may well have got a leak as to what the groups are going to be. Are they balanced? Are they fair? The storylines, though, are certainly absolutely immense. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel, rocketing towards 20k. Just absolutely love to see it. Firstly, this from Heat, of course, former 100 Thieves player Eccles, when they had that weird roster where Eccles was there, babybay was there for like literally 2 weeks before they dropped him. He's joined Heat Gaming as their new IGL, so pretty cool to see him still getting an opportunity because, yeah, the 100 Thieves stuff before they brought in DDK and Jorges was an absolute shambles. But their new roster is, well, increasing, looking better by the day, to be honest, and of course they're getting ready to go for the group that they may well have. Probably the easier group of the two, we'll see here in a second, but you know, are they balanced? That is certainly another question mark. This also from Fnatic, they confirmed their new roster. Honestly, probably one of the best announcement videos that I've ever seen. Like, usually these announcement videos, if they are going to be montage style, are just pretty boring. Like, you know, you see the player, like, he gets a nice few frags. That's just how it goes. This is effectively done as like a meme montage. There's like all these memes and like stuff going on in the background. Thought it was actually really entertaining compared to what they normally have. But, you know, here we go. We've got Turkish player Alfire, or, you know, I always pronounce names awfully, so I'm just going to go with that for now. And their other player is Enzo. They're bringing into the team. This, I believe, like, I don't know if he changed his name or something, but like Fearoth or Fear or whatever was the name that he kind of went by when he subbed in for them at Masters, of course. And because, of course, the Durga situation, all that, he flew out there. And, well, the Brave situation stuff, of course, fell up very much south for them. But again, Enzo, as he's now known, is joining this team. You also got Alfire in the team as well. And this is now the roster of 5. So Boaster, Enzo, Durka, Mystic, and Alfire. Probably still pronouncing that wrong. That's the new team of 5. So tough scenes, honestly. Like when Dephh was in this team, like I thought they probably looked the best they had done in quite some time. And they do find themselves in a pretty stacked group, it must be said, over in Group A. They were like G2 are there, Ascender there, FPX are there as well in their group. So not going to be an easy time getting out of that one, because I believe if they do Stage 2 the same way they did Stage 1, only 3 teams out of the 6 get out of the pools in EMEA, whereas in North America, 4 out of the 6 get through, which does give you a little bit more leeway. This, of course, also, because a few days ago we mentioned this, from, well, Zombs came out and said that actually the prize money had been deducted that some of these pros got from champions because of, you know, tests and stuff like this. They effectively took prize money away from the professional players to pay for some additional costs they had at the event. No one else really talked about this or even said this, so there wasn't talk, okay, is Zombs just making this up, or like, has he got his information wrong, or is there something else going on here? And it turns out this was a Sentinels internal issue, as Rob Moore here says from the Sentinels side, champions prize money, explaining the following. I want to address Zombs' recent comments regarding the prize money payout from champions. There were certain expenses deducted by Riot Games from the payout. Some related to player expenses, but the majority related to test and hotel rooms for Sentinel staff. I misread the statement and charged all the expenses against prize money, reducing the prize payouts by $1,675. The mistake has now been corrected, and all the players will be receiving an additional payout. So it's kind of interesting. It seems like Riot did want to take some money away, but like they didn't really want to take it away from the prize money for the players. So instead they kind of deducted it from whatever the team's cut was, I guess. But like in the end, it ended up that Zombs got less money than maybe he should have done, which maybe is why that it wasn't really talked about by others. So as Zombs says, you know, it's okay, all good, it was a glitch. Thanks for addressing. So strange situation. I guess that's all kind of come to a close at this point. But let's dive into what these groups are going to be. This is the schedule actually for week 1 in the EMEA side. They confirm their groups. We imagine the groups might well get confirmed today or tomorrow, or they're going to be in North America, but they were leaked last night, so we can certainly dive into what they're going to be. These are the game ones over here, though, this coming week. And of course, look, as Fion 5 points out, Sentinels, TSM, great rivalry back in the day, great, you know, organizations. They are both in VCT North America. Will they play in the same group? Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, at least based on what we currently know. These then are the 12 teams that qualified. Of course, are the Challenger 1 playoffs teams, the Guard, Optic. So it is rather interesting the way they've done the seeding here, right? Because the Guard won playoffs last time in North America. Therefore, they're technically the number 1 seed, despite the fact that Optic, of course, won Masters. Therefore, you would think on that metric, they would be the number 1 seeds. And then I'm pretty sure what they've done here is they've taken the other teams that qualified and basically said in this order, that's kind of where the seeding is. We'll see how that works out here in a second, because these apparently are going to be the groups. Yay and the other guys are saying, what interesting groups he reckons. Can we get a leak? And there's Yay says, yeah, well, one of the groups has opted to get it right here. And as Vanity says, these groups are interesting to say the least. They probably don't want to leak anything right publicly, but you know, of course, journalist George Geddes is going to do exactly that. Yay says very balanced, very fun. So he's not, you know, it probably sounds like tongue-in-cheek, to be honest, here from Yay, probably saying that he's, you know, not convinced these groups actually are balanced or reasonable or fun or anything along those lines. But I suppose if you're Optic, you probably should have just won the playoffs in North America, then you might have had the easier group. Here then are the groups that we believe are going to be the case, probably confirmed today. I imagine this is almost certain to be correct. I think the same happened last time around. So the way they seem to have done this is they've taken the number 1 and number 4 seed and put them both into Group A, and then taken the number 2 and number 3 seed and put them them into Group B. That is probably a sensible way of doing it to make the groups more fair on paper, but the reality is, has it actually made the groups, more difficult? Because Group A, the Guard with the number 1 seed, exit number 4 seeds, whereas Group B, Optic and Cloud9 are number 2, number 3 seeds. But arguably, I think a lot of people would say that despite the fact that the Guard won North American playoffs, if you had to pick the 2 best teams in North America, I would probably still go Optic and Cloud9. Like, the Guard, maybe there or thereabouts. Optic is certainly number 1 now after what happened at Masters, but yet they're still using the seeding based on what happened in the first stage, which maybe is sensible, but it does mean that you get Optic Cloud9 here in the kind of the same group, right, with other very good teams as well. So to me, Group B is pretty much stacked, because the Guard, they were great stage 1, no doubt, but look, they've got young players, up-and-comers, like whether they can continue that form is a bit of a question mark, whereas Optic and the Cloud9 guys, I don't really have any doubts on that front. So we'll look at Group B in itself, because we've got Optic Cloud9, like, and the thing is, Group A is maybe harder to call who gets through, but like, it's probably the easier group, just because Group B, Optic and Cloud9 should be easily good enough to qualify. Then Sentinels are in here as well, so Sentinels, tough group no doubt for them. They play Optic, Cloud9, of course, it's single round robin within these groups, and of course, Sentinels did just about qualify. They were effectively the worst seeds, because they were the last team that did qualify through the second open qualifier in the losers bracket, so they probably get the hardest time. But they were in this group, Luminosity here as well, Evil Genius is here as well, and then FaZe, right, the kind of former Rise guys, or at least a fair few players on that roster, they looked rather good as well. They got through pretty comfortably. So this is a tough group. Sentinels, Evil Geniuses, Luminosity. If I had to call it now, I might well say Optic, Cloud9, FaZe maybe. I thought I was pretty impressed by FaZe actually, and they might still improve. But then again, like they were kind of relied heavily on Dicey and babybay, so whether they can continue that run is going to be a question mark. But pretty much the other guy's job was just to set those guys up. It worked out for them rather well in the qualifiers. Whether that translates, that's another question mark. But I mean, yeah, Sentinels, they're going to need to improve still, I think, with Raucus there and put some more time in and stuff like that if they want to compete in this group. But the other teams, of course, are in Group A. So here we go in Group A. The Guard xNed, of course, number 1, number 2 seed effectively here, because number 1, number 4 seed was xNed first time around. But the other 4 teams are here. This, I honestly really like the storylines in this group, because TSM being in here is just great. Shame really we don't have TSM Sentinels, but still, it's pretty entertaining regardless. To me, what I love really is 100 Thieves NRG. I love that they put this together. I do wonder, like, have they done this based on actual seedings? Because it's always like, you can always manipulate the seedings in a way. Because as I said, they have done, it seems, number 1, number 4, number 2, number 3 from the playoffs. But of course, outside of that, you've then got 2 teams that qualified at each stage, right? So there's 2 teams that made it from the winners bracket at the qualifier 1. There's 2 teams that made it from losers bracket at qualifier 1. 2 teams, as you kind of get the picture from qualifier 2 as well. That means that if they want to, they can probably justify pretty much whatever groups they want to build. So whether this has been done with competitive integrity in mind, or whether it's done for storylines in mind, is it was a bit of a question mark, right? Because you look at Group A, you think, okay, 100 Thieves NRG, that's just fantastic. As Ethan, right, formerly of 100 Thieves, decided to leave that team, decided to join NRG, and initially it seemed to have made a great decision. Joined the NRG team, they qualified through the winners bracket, pretty sure they didn't lose a map, or certainly didn't lose a series in their entire, run all the way through, but 100 Thieves qualified regardless. So seeing those 2 teams play up is going to be a great story. Whether Optic can continue their form in Group B is another one, but yeah, very much tweeting your perspective on all this stuff in the comment section below, no doubt. This from FNS, I am so nervous, right? Maybe about the way these groups are going to go, and even as Som says, we are all playing for second place, FNS says first. Of course, Som, NRG, they're not actually in Optic's group, but this is kind of the meme that was going around last night. Cloud9, I'm pretty sure we're also saying it, as FNS says, I already won, I don't care anymore. You're about to see us nosedive off the International Space Station, and what is this pickup going down the slide? It's similar to NRG Som's career. So yeah, maybe Optic are going to completely fall off. Kind of doubt that's going to be the case, but they're certainly playing up as if they're not taking things as seriously nowadays that they won. But of course, look, there's plenty more to come in this season. They want to go back to back. They want to win champions. Masters is never going to be enough for any organization. And this is Ethan's perspective on it actually, right? Because he's probably seen the fact that, NRG are playing 100 Thieves in this group and saying, we're getting maximum viewership for these groups, right? Bravo, right, he says. Pretty much saying that, like, look, they haven't designed these groups entirely with competitive integrity in mind, but more so with that, trying to maximize the storylines and the potential viewership and the rivalries that you might have as a result of this, right? And you can't really blame them in a way. And at the end of the day, if you're a team, you've just got to get top 4 out of 6 in these groups, and you're going to be able to qualify for the playoffs and make something happen from there, which of course is going to be the goal for all these organizations at the end of the day. This from TSM thought was kind of funny. Sentinels dodges us again. So yeah, apparently they're not in the same group. So yeah, TSM versus Sentinels won't happen until the playoffs. But of course, if both teams qualify, hopefully they will. Hopefully TSM and the Sentinels both qualify. We get to see them play each other in the playoffs. That'd be a good time for sure. And even the Sentinels say, TSM really got stuck in the no-name group, right? Basically saying like, look, our Group B is way stronger than Group A, which when you look at it on paper is probably the case, at least for now. We'll see if these get confirmed, of course, over the coming hours. This also from Will Minder thought was kind of cool, just as we close out the video. Top 10 players in first blood success. This is at the open qualifier number 2. This is maybe not from the round of, this is from the round of 32 onwards, as we usually look at. But yeah, TenZ, he had a 66% first blood rate. This guy was honestly killing it. Of course, there's other players right here. here that are 55 and above. Anything like 60 and above is pretty absurd. Dual Gamer won this list as well. It's kind of crazy. I mean, it makes sense really that like all of these players are Jet players, but it is just pretty impressive really how Jet still, in the current meta at the very least, is still very much, well, necessary really if you want to get first bloods on a consistent basis like this with the AWP in hand, this type of stuff. It's like, I mean, Boostio's here on the chain most of the time. Rhymes here in fairness with the raise, but 58 is, well, a fair bit lower than 66%, and TenZ has done this on a fairly high ping. There's all this talk about, okay, ping, does it actually, like, does it help you, does it hurt you in certain situations? But definitely intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Just this clip here from Foe from Evil Geniuses to close out the video as well. Of course, he's going to be in Group B with, well, a pretty tough affair over there. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button, tells your YouTube gods this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you much as always, take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Low, half HP, upping. He was 7. 2 bullets.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.